Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to Islamic Spirit. Globe showing Europe Africa sparkles who walked the earth before us? Before the first human ever set foot on this planet, the earth was already alive with mysteries, civilizations, and beings whose stories are rarely told. We often imagine ourselves as the beginning of history, but the truth is far older, far deeper. Long before mankind, there were giants that shook the ground, creatures that ruled the oceans, and unseen beings who built empires of their own. Myths, scriptures, and ancient ruins whisper of a time when others walked this very earth, beings of fire, of immense power, and of hidden knowledge. Were they destroyed, forgotten, or still watching us from the shadows? Join me as we uncover the untold story of those who came before humanity, their rise, their fall, and the lessons they left behind. This is not just history, it is a journey into the secrets of creation itself. Before we start, remember to like the video, subscribe, and activate the bell so you don't miss a thing. Share this video with your loved ones, as this knowledge can literally change a life. Globe showing Europe Africa imagined the earth millions of years before a single human ever existed. The world was vast, raw, and untamed. Towering volcanoes breathed fire into the sky, shaping continents with every eruption. Oceans stretched endlessly, deeper and more mysterious than we can comprehend today. Their waves hid strange creatures, some gigantic, others microscopic, that would come to dominate their ecosystems for millions of years. The air was thicker, the skies different in color, sometimes filled with particles of ash, sometimes glowing with a purity that no modern eye has ever witnessed. Forests unlike any we know today covered much of the land. Colossal ferns and towering trees grew in dense jungles, sheltering insect species larger than modern birds. Deserts shifted with winds, mountains rose and crumbled, and glacier advanced and retreated in endless cycles of creation and destruction. The earth was alive, constantly moving, reshaping itself, preparing for what was yet to come. Time itself felt different in this ancient world. What we call a million years was just a heartbeat in the grand story of creation. Civilizations had not yet risen, but the stage was being set. This was an earth before writing, before memory, before history itself. It was a world of beginnings, where life formed, adapted, and vanished in waves, each era leaving faint imprints that scientists, historians, and believers still try to piece together. And in this vast silence, long before humans, others walked this planet. Some we know through fossils and stone, others we only know through whispers of revelation and myth. The earth was never empty, it was always alive, always preparing, always holding secrets. Long before human footsteps touched the soil, the earth belonged to giants. Towering reptiles roamed the land, winged creatures dominated the skies, and colossal beasts swam through the oceans. Dinosaurs, perhaps the most famous of these ancient rulers, appeared more than 200 million years ago and reigned supreme for over 160 million years. Some were as tall as buildings, while others were small and swift, yet every one of them left its mark on the Earth's ecosystem. Their presence shaped the land, the forests, and even the climate itself. Imagine herds of sauropods, massive, long-necked dinosaurs, grazing on entire forests of vegetation in a single season, their weight reshaping the very terrain beneath them. Picture predators like the Tyrannosaurus rex, whose power and dominance ensured that only the fittest survived. In the skies, enormous pterosaurs glided on wingspans wider than a bus, casting shadows over the plains. In the oceans, marine reptiles like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs ruled waters that teemed with life, hunting with incredible precision. These creatures were not random accidents of evolution, they were carefully balanced parts of a vast and living world. But dinosaurs were not the only giants. Long after their extinction, Earth gave rise to other enormous creatures: woolly mammoths with tusks longer than a man's height, saber-toothed cats with fangs like daggers, and ground sloths that stood taller than a human house. These megafauna roamed icy plains and lush valleys, leaving behind fossils and bones that remind us just how small humanity truly is in the timeline of life. And then, as suddenly as they appeared, they were gone. Entire species, entire kingdoms of life vanished. The dinosaurs disappeared after a cataclysmic event. Most believe a massive asteroid struck the Earth, altering the climate, blocking out sunlight, and collapsing the food chain. As for the megafauna, many perished in waves of extinction, driven by a mix of climate changes and, eventually, the arrival of humans. The mystery of their disappearance continues to haunt scientists and storytellers alike. Were these extinctions random accidents, or were they part of a greater design in creation's timeline? Why did the Earth clear away these rulers to make room for something new? Perhaps it was a preparation, a divine reshaping of the world, ensuring that when humanity did finally arrive, the Earth would be ready to receive them. What we know is this: the Earth has never been static. It is a stage where civilizations, whether reptilian, mammalian, or human, rise and fall. The giants of the past had their time, and their legacy is written in stone, bone, and the silent mysteries they left behind. Long before human history was written, cultures across the world carried stories of beings who walked the earth before us, creatures of immense power, knowledge, and sometimes rebellion. These myths, scattered across civilizations separated by vast oceans and centuries, all point to one haunting question: was humanity truly the first intelligent race to inherit this world? In the Islamic tradition, the Quran and Hadith speak of the jinn, beings created from smokeless fire. Long before Adam was fashioned from clay, the jinn lived on earth, building civilizations of their own. They were given free will, able to obey or disobey, to rise in righteousness or fall into corruption. Many traditions describe them as rulers of the world, until arrogance and bloodshed led to their downfall. When the angels questioned Allah about creating man, they recalled the jinn, who had spilled blood and caused chaos long before humans ever existed. Other cultures echo this theme in strikingly similar ways. The ancient Greeks spoke of the Titans, massive beings of immense strength who ruled before the Olympian gods. Their war with Zeus and his kin echoes a struggle of older powers being replaced by new creation. In Sumerian mythology, the world's oldest recorded civilization, there were tales of the Anunnaki, powerful beings from the heavens who governed and shaped early life. In Hindu traditions, the Devas and Asuras battled for dominion, beings of light and beings of chaos locked in cosmic conflict long before humanity entered the stage. These stories differ in details, but their echoes are unmistakable. They tell of an earth never empty, never silent, but inhabited by powers both visible and unseen. They speak of wars fought long before men wielded swords, of civilizations erased, and of a cycle where one race is replaced by another. Could these myths be remnants of a shared memory, echoes of truths passed down through time? Perhaps ancient people, guided by fragments of revelation or whispers of the unseen, preserved glimpses of the beings who came before. Or perhaps the legends are distorted memories of the jinn, whose hidden existence continues alongside ours, unseen yet real. What unites these myths is their reminder that humanity is not the center of all creation. We are part of a far greater story, one in which entire races have risen and fallen before us. And if the earth was once home to mighty beings greater than ourselves, then our existence is not only fragile but deeply purposeful, chosen to inherit a world once ruled by others. In the unseen realms of creation, long before Adam was shaped from clay, there lived another race upon the earth, the jinn. Mentioned throughout the Quran and Hadith, the jinn are described as beings created from smokeless fire. Unlike angels, who are made from light and bound to obey Allah without question, the jinn were given free will, just like humans. They could believe or disbelieve, obey or rebel, worship or sin. And with that choice came the rise of entire civilizations, filled with both virtue and corruption. For countless ages, the jinn roamed the earth. They built societies, lived in families, and spread across the world just as humans do today. Some traditions describe their empires stretching across mountains and deserts, their powers allowing them to move with incredible speed and accomplish feats beyond human imagination. Like us, they had leaders, armies, and laws. Yet also like us, they fell into arrogance, pride, and warfare. Their conflicts stained the earth with blood long before humanity arrived. When the angels questioned Allah about creating man, they said, "Will you place upon it one who causes corruption and sheds blood, while we glorify you with praise?" Quran 2:30. Scholars explain that this question arose from what the angels had seen before, the corruption and violence of the jinn upon the earth. Entire generations of jinn rose and fell, their power unchecked, until Allah sent armies of angels to drive them into the shadows, confining many to remote places far from the heart of creation. Among those who survived was one known as Iblis, a jinn who worshipped Allah so devoutly that he was elevated to the company of the angels. But his arrogance would later seal his downfall. The jinn were not completely erased. Even today, they remain, living in a parallel world invisible to human eyes. They eat, drink, marry, and die, just as we do. Some are Muslims, righteous and obedient, while others are disbelievers who follow Iblis in his rebellion. The Quran even preserves the words of believing jinn who listened to the recitation of the Quran and declared their faith. Among us are those who are righteous, and among us are otherwise, we are of divided ways. Quran 72:11. Their world overlaps with ours in mysterious ways. They inhabit desolate places, ruins, and wilderness, often living where humans rarely tread. They whisper into hearts, tempting mankind toward sin, and they can influence through whispers and illusions, though their power is limited by Allah's decree. Stories of possession, strange voices, and shadowy encounters often trace back to them. Yet the story of the jinn is not merely about fear. It is a lesson. They were given the earth before us, but their arrogance, violence, and disobedience led to their downfall. Humanity was then chosen as Khalifa, caretakers of the earth. In their story lies a mirror for our own. If we too fall into corruption and pride, we may meet the same fate. The world of the jinn reminds us that we are not alone in creation. Ours is not the first story written upon this earth, nor will it be the last. They still walk among us, unseen, witnesses to the rise and fall of mankind, just as they themselves once rose and fell before us. To understand why humanity was created after the jinn, we must look deeper into the balance of the unseen world. Allah, in his infinite wisdom, fashioned three great orders of creation: the angels, the jinn, and mankind, each distinct in origin, nature, and purpose. The angels were made of pure light. They are flawless in their obedience, never disobeying Allah even for an instant. Their very essence is worship and service, recording deeds, guarding creation, carrying revelation, and praising Allah night and day without weariness. Angels do not eat or drink, do not marry, and do not know pride. They are pure instruments of divine will, incapable of sin. The jinn, on the other hand, were created from smokeless fire. Unlike angels, they were granted free will, the ability to choose belief or disbelief. This gift made them capable of both immense good and terrible evil. They could rise in piety or descend into corruption. For ages, they filled the earth, building societies and waging wars. Their misuse of power led to chaos, and their downfall opened the stage for a new creation. And then came the divine decree. Allah announced to the angels, "Indeed, I will place upon the earth a Khalfa, successive authority." Quran 2:30. This statement astonished the angels, who asked, "Will you place upon it one who causes corruption and sheds blood, while we glorify you with praise and sanctify you?" Their question revealed a profound truth. They had seen the jinn corrupt the earth before, and they wondered if mankind would repeat the same tragedy. But Allah replied with wisdom beyond their knowledge, "Indeed, I know that which you do not know." Humanity was not to be a mere repetition of the jinn. Unlike angels who have no choice, and unlike jinn who had abused theirs, mankind was to carry the trust of free will with the added gift of knowledge. Adam was taught the names of all things, a sign of intellect and purpose. Humanity was to inherit the earth not just as dwellers, but as Khalfa, caretakers, entrusted with justice, balance, and remembrance of their Creator. This divine order set the stage for the greatest test of all. The angels bowed in obedience when commanded, but Iblis, the jinn who had risen among them, refused, blinded by pride. "I am better than him. You created me from fire, and created him from clay." Quran 7:12. His arrogance revealed the danger of free will when corrupted by envy and pride. Thus, the roles of creation were made clear. Angels, pure obedience, a reminder of perfect submission. Jinn, free will, a warning of what rebellion can lead to. Humans, free will with knowledge, entrusted to balance Earth as stewards. The existence of these three orders creates a cosmic harmony: obedience, choice, and responsibility. Humanity's story only makes sense in the light of what came before: the downfall of the jinn and the unwavering obedience of the angels. It is within this balance that mankind must carve its destiny, between the purity of angels and the rebellion of idols. Scattered across the earth are monuments so vast, so precise, and so mysterious that even today they puzzle historians and scientists. The Great Pyramids of Giza, rising from the sands of Egypt, align almost perfectly with the stars. Massive blocks, some weighing over 70 tons, were cut and placed with such precision that modern engineers still debate how ancient builders achieved it. Were these structures merely the work of early human ingenuity, or do they hint at knowledge beyond their time? Even older than the pyramids is Göbekli Tepe, an archaeological site in modern-day Turkey dating back over 11,000 years, long before the known rise of agriculture and cities. Carved stone pillars, arranged in intricate circles, display animals and symbols that suggest complex spiritual beliefs and advanced organization. Yet history tells us humanity at that time should have been simple hunter-gatherers. Who, then, gave them such knowledge? Across the world, other megaliths echo the same mystery: Stonehenge in England, the Nazca Lines in Peru, the colossal stone heads of Easter Island, and the towering temples of Baalbek in Lebanon with stones larger than modern cranes can lift. Were these monuments simply feats of determination and manpower, or do they whisper of an influence greater than human hands? Some theories suggest that early humans might have received guidance from beings with advanced knowledge, perhaps remnants of the jinn who once roamed the earth, or civilizations erased from memory. Others see them as signs of divine will, markers left to remind mankind that greatness is not achieved by strength alone but through wisdom and purpose. What unites all these mysteries is the sense that humanity's history is not as straightforward as we think. Our ancestors may not have been the first to carve stone, build monuments, or dream of the stars. The earth carries silent witnesses, ruins, carvings, and alignments that hint at stories far older than recorded history. And behind each stone lies a possibility that before us, others walked, built, and vanished, leaving only echoes for us to uncover. While myths and ruins spark curiosity, the most reliable source of truth about who walked the earth before us lies in divine revelation. The Quran and the sayings of the Prophet give us glimpses into a history far older than human memory, one that confirms we are not the first intelligent beings to inhabit this world. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2:30, Allah tells us of the moment He declared to the angels, "Indeed, I will place upon the earth a Khalfa." The angels responded, "Will you place upon it one who causes corruption and sheds blood, while we glorify you with praise and sanctify you?" Their question was not defiance, but wonder. Why would Allah create a being with free will, when the earth had already seen corruption and bloodshed? Scholars explain that the angels were referring to the jinn, who had ruled the earth before Adam, and had filled it with wars and destruction. Tafsir scholars, such as Ibn Kathir, narrate traditions that long before humans, the jinn had established themselves across the earth. They fought among themselves until their corruption became widespread. Allah then sent angels to drive them away, scattering them to distant lands and islands, clearing the earth for a new creation, mankind. This backdrop explains why the angels anticipated bloodshed when humanity was announced. They had seen it before. Hadith literature also gives us insight. The Prophet confirmed the jinn's existence, describing their creation from smokeless fire and their continuing role in our world. Entire surahs, such as Surah Al-Jinn 72, preserve the testimony of jinn who listened to the Quran and accepted Islam. Their words remind us that belief, disbelief, righteousness, and corruption are not unique to humans, they exist among other beings too. From these accounts, a profound lesson emerges. Humanity was not placed on earth blindly or without purpose. We were chosen as Khalfa, inheritors of a world once stained by rebellion, tasked with carrying the trust of justice and worship. The jinn's failure stands as a warning: free will is both a gift and a burden, and with it comes accountability. The scriptures remind us that history is not merely human history. Allah's creation is vast, layered with worlds and beings beyond what our eyes can see. Our place in this story is not accidental, it is deliberate, purposeful. We are a link in a chain of creation, called to succeed where others fell. And every verse about those who came before is not just history, it is a mirror for us, urging humility, obedience, and remembrance of our Creator. Knowing that others walked the earth before us changes the way we see ourselves. We are not the first chapter in the story of creation, nor are we the strongest or the most enduring. Mighty creatures, powerful civilizations, and even intelligent beings like the jinn once ruled this world, and yet, they vanished, leaving only traces behind. Their stories remind us that strength, knowledge, and dominance alone do not guarantee survival. What matters is obedience to the Creator and humility before His plan. As humans, we were given a unique responsibility to be Kalfa, caretakers of the earth. This role is not a privilege without accountability, it is a trust. The rise and fall of those before us should remind us that arrogance leads to destruction, while gratitude and justice lead to preservation. We are heirs to a world shaped by others' failures, entrusted to do better, to live with balance and responsibility. Civilizations rise with power and fall with pride. History is not random, it is a cycle, and every civilization writes its fate by the choices it makes. If the jinn, the giants, and ancient empires could collapse, what makes us think our own age is untouchable? The earth does not belong to us, it belongs to Allah. We are but travelers passing through, tested in how we use our time, our power, and our freedom. To reflect on those who came before is to see ourselves more clearly, fragile, temporary, and yet chosen. The question is, will we repeat their mistakes, or will we honor the trust we have been given? As we conclude this journey through time, one truth becomes clear: humans are neither the first nor the last to walk this earth. Before us were giants, ancient civilizations, and unseen beings whose stories are written in stone, scripture, and memory. Their rise and fall serve as a timeless reminder that existence is fleeting and that every creature, no matter how mighty, answers to the Creator. Our presence here is a trust, a chance to live with purpose, awareness, and responsibility. We are the stewards of the earth, tasked with preserving its balance, honoring its life, and walking with humility. The lessons of those who came before should inspire awe, caution, and reflection. Their legacy is not just a warning, it is a guidepost, showing that knowledge and power must always be accompanied by faith and obedience. Take a moment to ponder your place in this vast story. The world you see is only a fragment of creation. The unseen realms and the layers of history remind us that our time is precious. Will we rise with wisdom, or fall into the same traps of pride and corruption that claimed those before us? Every choice, every act, every word contributes to the story humanity leaves behind. In the end, we are part of a greater design, one that transcends time, species, and the limits of human understanding. Walk with awareness, live with purpose, and remember that the earth, though ours to inhabit, belongs ultimately to Allah. Reflect, learn, and let the stories of those who came before guide your journey toward humility, righteousness, and lasting impact. If you like this video and want to learn more about good ways to communicate with respect and kindness, then like this video to support the message. Subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Share this video with your loved ones so that together we can spread more kindness. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Tell me in comments what question has ever made you uncomfortable and how you'd like people to communicate with you. See you soon for a new video.